New studies suggest that many teenagers, they're just not getting enough sleep. The research adds fuel to the argument that school start time should be moved back. The CDC estimates only 3 out of 10 high school students get the recommended 8 to 10 hours a night. Only 15% of high school students follow the American Academy of Pediatric advice and start at 8:30 or later. So one district that switched to a later start time is giving the study's results very high marks. Our Dr. Tara Narula is here with more on this story. Tara, good morning to you.
Good morning, Gail. After the Seattle School District pushed middle and high school opening from 7:50 to 8:45 a.m., science students at 2 of those high schools became part of a real-time experiment, attempting to align school schedules with the biological clocks of adolescence.
Mornings are a little easier for Hazel Ostrowski, a senior at Franklin High School in Seattle. She's able to sleep in a bit longer thanks to a later start time of 8:45, set in place by her school district 2 years ago.
I think I definitely felt more awake when I had an extra hour of sleep.
Hazel was one of more than 170 students who took part in a new study published Wednesday in the journal Science Advances. It found when school started later, students slept longer and their academic performance improved.
I think that really helped me complete my schoolwork, but also just be more interested in what I was learning.
Researchers used wrist monitors to measure how long 2 different groups of sophomores slept. One group was monitored in 2016 when school started at 7:50 a.m., and the other group in 2017 when classes began almost an hour later at 8:45 a.m. Students who started class later slept an extra 34 minutes on school nights, and their grades improved an average of 4.5%.
I have seen that there are far fewer tardies and absences in first period.
A.J. Katsaroff is Hazel's biology teacher. She worked with researchers on the study and saw improved student performance firsthand.
I see kids are generally more engaged in the work of the classroom, so very much more willing to participate than in the past.
While the study has shown positive results for students' health and academics, it did not address potentially negative impacts on their after-school activities, which now might take place after dark.
When you push the time back can be kind of difficult, especially if they're outdoor activities like sports.
The researchers point out that most teens simply cannot fall asleep before 11 p.m. or midnight. So even though the Seattle students are sleeping an average 34 minutes longer, they're still only getting an average of 7 hours and 24 minutes, still short of the recommended 8 to 10 hours.
So why are the sleep needs of teens different than other age groups?
We spoke to the lead researcher, and he said there's really this misconception that teens are just lazy. And a lot of parents think that their teens are getting enough sleep, but it's biology. And that when you hit puberty, there is a sleep-wake delay. That everything is pushed back about 2 hours. So in an ideal scenario, biologically, teens would want to go to sleep around 11 p.m. and wake up around 8. And this is because the circadian rhythm changes. There's delayed secretion of melatonin that kind of pushes you to sleep later, and you're not as sensitive to the light in the morning. There's also a change in what we call sleep pressure. So every day when you wake up, the more hours you've been awake, that kind of accumulates and builds up a drive for you to go to sleep at night. In teens, they can kind of stay up longer. That pressure is changed, and so they don't really feel as tired as soon as we would. And so the researcher really said, look, I mean, this is like asking a kid to get up at 4:30 in the morning. Asking a kid to get up at 6:30 in the morning and be alert and awake is like asking you or an adult to get up at 4:30 in the morning. So
I can certainly relate. Other than the better grades,
what we do. Yes, everyone else except you all.
Yes. I was going to say, present company excluded.
Right.
Other than better grades and attendance, are there other biological benefits to this?
So really, sleep impacts almost every physiologic function. And so getting more sleep means less depression and anxiety in teens, less risk for being overweight or obese and other metabolic changes, cardiovascular risk factors, also less risk for accidents, things like car accidents because of fatigue or use of stimulants like caffeine or other types of stimulant drugs. So really beneficial all the way around. And the American Academy of Pediatrics made this statement about
it's a crisis.
Since 2014, we've known this. The CDC has weighed in. So this is really a nice big step in that direction and something that we can do and modify.
Sleep, though,
It is the
really
number one way
yes.
we can protect our children.
But
We really see the
it's a
difference.
serious issue for all ages. You should do something on morning shows, Tara. I would love to start at 8 o'clock.
I know. The problem
No
is,
one listens to me. I would love to start at 8 o'clock.
is anyone listening?
No. This is important.
It is really,
It
really
is.
important.
And we as adults need to take it seriously, so we
Yes.
lay that pattern for our children.
set an example.
That's right.
All right, thank you, Tara.